Hello students, welcome once again. Today we are going to do a moral story. Now, the main question in your mind is, why are we doing stories in spoken English class? We are doing stories because reading and writing comes hand in hand. Sometimes we know how to write the spelling, how to write a word, but it's difficult to pronounce it properly, like the word honest. Some students say honest, some students say honest. Now, which one is right? It is honest, not honest. Now, these kind of things, uh, we get confused. We don't know which one is right or wrong to say it. That's why I'm going to read you a story so you can see the words and listen at how they are pronounced. Once you have understood the story, you have to give me the moral of the story and also the summary of this story in audio form before 10 a.m. tomorrow. I hope I'm very clear. So let's get started. Today's story is about a tortoise. How did it get its cracks? Long time ago, when we have commas, full stops, we have to give a short pause. A long time ago, when the animals could still talk, there was a famine in the land. Now, long, long ago, though that time when animals could talk to each other, at that time there was a famine. What's a famine? It's when there is no food anywhere. Famine was so bad that there was absolutely no food to eat in the animal kingdom. Now, in the whole kingdom of animals, there was absolutely no food. So everyone was hungry. That is the worst thing about a famine, right? Many of the animals were suffering and dying one by one. Now, because of the hunger, the animals were getting sick, they were becoming weak, and they were dying every day. The tortoise would not go down without a fight. The tortoise had decided, I'm not going to die like this. I need to survive. He was the most cunning of all animals, and he was determined to find some food for himself and his family. So, what does cunning means? Cunning means he used to trick a lot of people. He had determined means he had decided that this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it. So he used to manipulate a lot of animals, used to play with them. So he had decided that he would find some food for himself and his family. His family will not stay hungry. One day the tortoise observed that the birds in the kingdom were not starving like everyone else. So one day he was just moving around, he came to know, or he saw, that all the animals were weak, they were hungry, but the birds, they did not look like they were hungry or they were starving. They looked fresh and their feathers were not drying up. When he looked at the birds, he saw that these birds are not weak like us. They are very fresh and clean. Their feathers are also not drying. The animal's skin was drying because of the hunger. He made it his business to find out what their secret was. So from that day, made it his business, means from that day he decided to know what they were doing, what was their secret. Being as cunning and clever as ever, he went to the birds to ask them what their secret was. So he was very smart and he knew how to make other people tell their secrets to him. So he went to ask them, what was your secret that you are not sick, you are not drying up, you look healthy and fresh? Of course, they were reluctant to tell him. What does reluctant mean? It means they were not ready to tell him or they refused to tell him. After assuring them that he could help them to get even more food if they told him their secret, the birds conceded. Now, after making sure that they could trust him, and he told them that you trust me, I will help you find more food if you please tell me your secret. After so much of convincing them, the birds had conceded. Conceded means they wanted to trust him. They explained to him that the people of the sky were responsible for the meat on their bones. So, what did they tell him? It was the sky, the people from the sky. And that is the reason why they have food, their bones, and they have bones and meat. That is, they are not sick, they are feeling well. The tortoise promised to help them get even more food. And with its cunning mind, he developed a plan. So the tortoise had already promised them that we will find more food. With his smart mind, he had made a plan. He told the birds that if they helped him get to the sky, he would be their spokesperson. What's a spokesperson? Spokesperson is someone who speaks on behalf of others. So he told the birds, please help me get to the sky. I want to go to the sky and I will talk on your behalf. All the birds and indeed all the animals of the kingdom knew that Tortoise was an amazing orator or an actor. Everyone, the animals, the birds, everyone knew that the tortoise knew how to talk so sweetly. He knew what to do, so they agreed. They said, yes, be our spokesperson. After discussion, they had hatched a plan. So after talking for a long time, they made hatched means they had made a very good plan. Each bird would contribute a few feathers to tortoise until he had enough feathers to make wings that would allow him to fly. So they had decided that every bird should give some of its feathers to the tortoise so the tortoise can have some feathers and make wings from that and he can fly. On the day that the birds and tortoise agreed to go to the sky, tortoise put on his plumage and was ready and was finally able to fly. So when they had decided that this is the day the birds and the tortoise will go to the sky, that day the tortoise wore all the feathers, that is the plumage, and he was able to fly. When they all got to the sky, they were given a grand welcome. So when they went to the sky, they were given a very big welcome. They felt very special up there. As their spokesperson, the tortoise introduced himself and spoke on behalf of the birds. So, as we know, he went on behalf of the birds, so he introduced himself and started talking. Since he had the most unique and colorful plumage, the sky people immediately thought that the tortoise was their chief. Now, because there were feathers from very different birds, it was very different and colorful. That's why the people of the sky thought that he is the birds' leaders, the birds' leader. When they served food to their guest, they served tortoise first. As a result, the birds were not pleased with that. Now, the sky people started giving the guests some food. Now, when they were giving food, they first gave food to the tortoise instead of the birds. And this made the birds not happy. However, tortoise had another trick up his sleeves. Trick up his sleeves does not mean an idea that is inside his clothes. It means he had a plan, a very bad or a tricky plan. He told the birds that at grand occasions such as these, each animal would take up an alternative name. After the birds each chose a name, Tortoise chose the name All of You as his name. So, he told all the birds that when we have a big party or a feast like this, a situation like this, every animal should have a different name, another name. When it was the tortoise's turn, what name did he take? All of you. When the guests brought more food for their guests, when the hosts are people who are who made or who have the party in their house, and guests are the people who are invited to it. When the host brought more food for their guests, tortoise made a point of asking who the food was for. So when the food started coming in, he asked, who is all this food? And the host said, well, the food is for all of you. So the host did not know what trick the tortoise played with the birds. So the host said, yes, this food is for everyone here. It is for all of you. The, with a smirk. What's a smirk? A big smile without showing your teeth. The tortoise turned to the birds and stated that since the food was for all of you and his chosen name was all of you, the food was for him alone. And he told all the birds that now my name is all of you. This food is not for you people, it is for me only. The poor birds watched angrily as the tortoise ate everything. So the birds became very angry because first thing, they did not get the food and they saw that tortoise ate everything. When it was time to go, the birds were so angry that they took their feathers from tortoise. Now, when it was time to go home, the birds were angry, so they did not give him their feathers. They took them with them. He was now unable to fly back home. Now he could not go home flying. Sensing danger, Tortoise begged the birds to send a message to his wife. to bring out all soft things from his house so that when he jumped from the sky, he would be okay. Now he thought that now I'm in danger. He started requesting all the birds. He started telling them, please give my wife a message that take out all the soft things from the house so I can jump from the sky and I would not get hurt. All but one of them refused. Now, everyone said no. We are not going to help you except one bird. That one bird was the eagle. The angriest of all birds agreed to give the message to the tortoise's wife. Now, the eagle was it was the angriest bird. Why? It felt so bad and it was so mad. Still, he took that message to give it to the tortoise's wife. The eagle flew back to the tortoise's house and told his wife that Tortoise requested that she bring out all the hard things from the house. So, the eagle was angry. When it went to the tortoise house, he told the wife that her husband, that is the tortoise, had told her politely to take out all the hard things from the house instead of soft ones. Of course, she began to do just that. She thought this is very normal. The, the eagle did not even tell her that he will fall from the sky. She believed him and started bringing every hard thing out. She brought out the mortar, the plates, the wooden tables, and all the hard things you can think of. She started bringing mortar. What's a mortar? It is something in which we make paste with. Then plates and tables that are made of wood. Everything hard outside. With his limited vision, Tortoise couldn't see what was being brought out, so he assumed that the eagle had given the right message to his wife. The tortoise could not see properly from that height. He thought that the eagle has given the message, and he decided to go for it. When Tortoise jumped from the sky, he got the surprise of his life. Of course, he would be surprised. And it was something he did not expect because everything was hard, not soft. He landed on the hardest and sharpest objects, and his shell broke into many pieces. So when he he fell on very hard and sharp things, and these things broke his shell. With the help of his wife, he was able to pick them up and glue them back together. So his wife helped him take all the pieces and glue them back on him. Unfortunately, his previously smooth shell was never smooth again. Now, what was the bad thing about it? Now the shell is not smooth as it was before. The process of putting the pieces together was less than perfect and his shell became rough. Now, putting all those pieces together and sticking them with glue did not make it soft or smooth. It made it very hard and rough. This is why the tortoise has a cracked shell. This is the reason why the shells of the tortoises are cracked. They are in different shapes and pieces. I hope you understood the story. You understood how we should speak the word, how we should pronounce them, and what's the spelling. Now, what you have to do, you have to narrate this story in your own words and tell it to me along with its moral. What we learn from is this is that we should not be greedy, and every time our cunningness does not work. That's all for today. Bye bye.